Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the second shelf and to a sort of a book haul. And then you might think, book hauls? She doesn't do book hauls, which is true. I never did book hauls in the past. But new year, new beginnings, and I thought that at the beginning of each month I might share at least a couple of books that I buy for reasons because it's a book club read or because it's part of uh, reads that are related to my goals this year. So I called it New Arrivals, and I'll see whether you like it and whether I will continue with it. But for now, I want to start January with some of the books that I bought, and I want to talk to you about them and about the book clubs that they are related to. And the first book I want to talk to you about, a book that I recently bought, is a book that I've wanted to read for a long time. And I'm now reading it together with a friend. So it's a real life buddy read. And that is The Tale of Genji by Murasaki Shikubu. And I need two hands because it's such a brick of a book. This is the Penguin Classic Edition. It's a Japanese book from the 11th century, and a lot of people in literary criticism say it's the first novel. It's been translated by, let me see, Royall Tyler. And if you know and follow Steve Donahue over at his channel, he talks about this book all the time. So that spurred my interest again. And like I said, I found somebody to read this break with me. And this edition I found in a secondhand bookstore, and it's really beautiful with drawings all through the book. And it's the tale, like the title says, the tale of Genji, who is the son of an emperor in 11th century Japan. So it's in the court, in the Japanese court, what is now Kyoto. And the author was a noblewoman living in the 11th century at the emperor's court. So I've only started, so I'm not very far, but it's a lot about court life in medieval Japan and about the life of this particular person, but not only. And the first couple of pages, I think I'm 50 pages in, and it's something you have to read slow, I think, because it's really very elaborate descriptions of the court life. There's poetry in it. I want to learn something about medieval Japan, and I think that I hope at least this is the perfect book. And if you believe Steve Donahue, which you should, and you should subscribe to his channel if you aren't already subscribed, then this is one of the most beautiful novels. So I'm really excited that I found somebody who is willing to share these 1200 page brick with me. So this is the first arrival of the new year. And then the second new arrival this month is this one, A Golden Age by Tahmima Anam, first published in 2007. Tahmima Aman is Anam. I should at least pronounce the name of the author correctly now, shouldn't I? Tahmima Anam is an author born in Bangladesh. She lives now in London, and this was her debut novel. And I'm reading this for a Goodreads book club, which I think is a fantastic book club run by Mel. She also has a booktube channel, Mel's Bookland Adventures. I will leave a link to her channel down below. And the book club is called Read Around the World. And we read a book from a female author from a different country each month. Mel makes a choice of a couple of countries, and this year she goes alphabetically. And then we have a poll, and we vote for one book, and then we read that book together. And what I really like about that book club is that at the end of the year, you have read 12 books, which at least I probably wouldn't have read or wouldn't have found otherwise. This one is set in Bangladesh during the Independence War, beginning of the 1970s, and I know shamefully little about Bangladesh history and even less about Bangladesh writing and authors. So I'm really happy that she picked or we picked this book for January, and it follows the story of a young widow in Bangladesh and the impact the independence war has on her and her family, her children. And I'm looking forward to learning something about this country. So I'm excited to read that, and of course I will report back once I've read the book. The next book, the next new arrival, hasn't arrived yet, so I will put a picture of the cover up here. It's sort of, delayed in transit or something, and that is Megan Bergman, Almost Famous Women, a short story collection published in 2015. Megan Bergman is a short story writer. She wrote for magazines, The New Yorker. She published various short story collections, and I'm reading this also for a Goodreads book club run by Yamini, who also has a booktube channel, The Skeptical Reader. Link down below. And the book club is called Tales & Co. And in this book club, Yamini does it a little bit differently because we alternate each month. We read translated fiction by female authors, short story collections, and nonfiction every month, alternating. And this month in January, we read a short story, and we voted for Almost Famous Women. It's a collection about women who have a famous relative. So it's about Lord Byron's illegitimate daughter Allegra, or other writers, relatives, nieces. And as I understood, because I haven't started yet, obviously, because the book hasn't arrived yet, but it explores the impact the famous name has on the life, and it's a historical fiction collection, which I've thought is interesting. And I've never heard of this author, and I have to admit also I don't read a lot of short story collections. So this book club is for me an opportunity also to expand my horizon and delve more into short stories. So I will report once I read it at the end of the month, the collection Almost Famous Women. And the last book I want to talk to you about is Delphine de Vigan, Nothing Holds Back the Night, translated from the French by George Miller. The English translation published in 2013, and the French original 2 years earlier in 2011. I'm not reading this for a book club, but it's a book related to one of my goals. If you've seen my video of my 2018 reading, writing, and booktube goals, one of the goals for reading is that I want to read the backlist of authors that I discover and that I really like, which I'm bad at, and I want to get better at it. So last year I read Delphine de Vigan's book based on a true story, and I loved that book. It was one of my favorite reads of 2017. And so I picked her, Delphine de Vigan, as one of the authors that I want to read the backlist from. Now, this book is an autobiographical fictionalized account of Delphine de Vigan's life with her very extraordinary mother. And I picked this out of the backlist of de Vigan because based on a true story is a book about a writer who published a memoir that was very famous and a bestseller, and then the writer in the book based on a true story has to cope with the fact that people don't really see what is fiction, what is truth, what really happens. And I like I said, I love that book, and so I wanted to read the autobiographical fictional novel that sort of spurred Delphine de Vigan to write based on a true story. I don't know whether I'm making sense. Anyway, this is a book about Delphine de Vigan's life, but a fictionalized account. So it's not a memoir, it's a novel. And it will be one, she published, I think, 3 more books, but this will be the first one in my attempt to read the backlist of authors that I really liked. So, these were my new arrivals in January. I hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know whether you like this sort of book haulish new kind of video that I at least planning on doing at the beginning of the month. Like I said, I'm not planning on doing a book haul in the sense that I haul every book, show you every book that I buy or get from the library, but just to pick a couple, especially if they are related to book clubs or buddy reads, because I thought that's interesting, especially after when I talk about the book after I read them. I can also talk a little bit about the reactions of the other readers. But anyway, let me know whether you like this idea. And again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon in my next video. Bye bye.